Hi everyone, Clive Adams back again, and it is time for another CEO update. And who better to be joined for one of those than the CEO himself of Bowls Australia, Neil Dalrymple. G'day Neil, how are you?
Good. Thanks, Clive. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate, very well. Well, look, we've started off the year with a wonderful announcement, haven't we? A
Mm.
wonderful honour for the great Karen Murphy.
It's fantastic. And what a great recognition for Karen's contribution to the sport of bowls in Australia. I mean, she's revered across the world. She's a very well-known person in the bowls world. And I think this is another award that she obviously deserves. And and it's just something else that kind of tops off her career. So I'm very, very pleased for her. And look, she's still young and she's still got a lot to achieve in her life. But I mean, yeah, it's amazing at her age to have actually done so much in the sport. It's quite incredible, and I really hope that in the future years that her recognition extends further than bowls and into the general sports community, and that they actually get to see and understand exactly what impact that she's had in our sport. And yeah, I mean, and what I'm talking about there, Clive, is a Sport Australia Hall of Fame. And, I see, and I go to these dinners and see some of the sports people that are recognised, and Karen Murphy is certainly well positioned to be alongside those people and, potentially to be a legend in the Sport Australia Hall of Fame at some point in the future.
Of course, we refer to, for those that didn't see the news, the honour we're referring to is Karen being awarded as a member of the Order of Australia, which is just a huge distinction.
It is. I mean, AM is, it's kind of the upper echelon if there's such a thing in these awards, and it's not to downplay any other awards, but I mean, it's kind of it is a step up, and and you can see why too for what she's achieved. So it's a great recognition for her.
Well, we've got some wonderful ambassadors in the sport. Karen Murphy is one of them. Steve Glassen is another. And we've seen in recent times Steve Glassen's announcement to step down as the Australian Jackaroos coach. And just what a wonderful contribution Steve's made to the sport.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about icons in the sport, and these names of Murphy and Glassen and Kirkow, and I mean, they're really such fantastic ambassadors. And we've just talked about Karen. I mean, Steve is in the same kind of breath. And look, 10 years as national coach is a significant period of his life. I think it's about 1/5 of his life, actually. So, or thereabouts. He might look a bit older, but no, I won't say that. Not on camera anyway.
No.
But he's made a huge contribution to the sport. He's made a huge contribution to Bowls Australia and the national high performance program over the last 10 years. It's gone very quickly. Look, we respect his decision to do something else in his life. He's not going to be lost to the sport. He'll still be involved heavily with the sport. In fact, through BCIB, who are a major corporate partner of Bowls Australia. So we will definitely see Steve around the greens. And we look forward to working with him in a different capacity, but we also are very, very happy to acknowledge his great service and look forward to being able to do that face-to-face one day soon.
I guess an important part when someone like Steve, who's been in the role for so long, steps down is that you have someone ready to take the place and ready for, I guess, some continuity in the way things are being done within the Australian Jackaroos. And Gary Willis has stepped up and presents that opportunity.
I think in any organisation, Clive, it's succession planning is important. Now, whether that's in a board context or a staffing context, and ideally, you want, if for whatever reason someone gets hit by a bus or has something where their circumstances change, that you have someone ready to take over. And in Gary Willis, we have that person. Gary has been the national assistant coach for a number of years. He has great experience as a player, as a coach. He has an experience within other aspects of bowls insofar as he's chair of our national coaching advisory group. And so his involvement in the sport is thorough and wide, and he's really well placed to take over from Steve. Steve anointed him. He recommended him. He is very supportive of this appointment. And I think from a Bowls Australia point of view, it's great to be able to recognise Gary and move him into this position and have a very seamless transition of national coach.
On the Jackaroos front, we've seen some squads announced in recent times as well. What do you see the year looking like? I mean, obviously 2020 ended up not being anything like what we thought it might look like. What do you see the year looking like for the Jackaroos in terms of the emerging players and so forth?
Yeah, well, I hope they probably won't need a passport, so it might be. And we hope, depending on looking at it's a daily occurrence, isn't it, Clive? Like, we really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow and what announcements are going to happen. So look, we remain optimistic, certainly from a domestic point of view. The national calendar, we're really optimistic that many of those events will happen. So from a Jackaroos perspective, participating in our events like the BPL. Hopefully we have a Trans-Tasman at some stage this year. In terms of international competition, obviously the Australian Open in June is a big event for the sport in Australia, and seeing our Jackaroos participating, and look, it all leads to, at some point, a World Championship or in 2022 certainly a Commonwealth Games. So preparations will be gearing up now under Gary's leadership, and I mean, I think as I say, there'll be a lot of domestic play and certainly not a hell of a lot of international competition in 2021, unfortunately.
Of course, if anyone wants to familiar themselves with those squads, they can do so by heading to the Bowls Australia website, www.bowls.com.au, and follow the prompts there, and you'll be able to find all of those squads and see if your favourite player made it. But you touched on BPL, Neil, and BPL 12 is coming. We can start to get a bit excited. We're going to see some bowls on the TV again, and some of the lights and the glamour that a BPL brings.
No, I can sense there's a lot of excitement. I know I've seen some of the comments from the players on social media, and they're looking forward to it and sharing and liking, etc. So yeah, they're obviously looking forward. I mean, I'm sure they'll put on a great show once again, and we're really thankful to Moama Bowling Club and Club Pine Rivers, who will host BPLs later in the year in April and November. Thankful for those host clubs in terms of their support of Bowls Australia in bringing this event to the people. And as we know, the BPL is a made-for-TV event. It's a broadcast event live on Fox Sports, on KO, on Sky Sports across the country. We're really looking forward to this event in a couple of weeks at Moama, and I've got a feeling that the players will put on a great show. And again, impossible to pick who's going to win. It's a great field of players, 24 of the top players. I thank the Perth Suns in terms of the WA team making these last-minute changes and bringing in Genevieve Delves and Ray Pearce to support Lee Schrader. So look, there's even the Perth Suns. There's no WA players playing for the Perth Suns. A pretty good team. So this might be the year you win it.
Close to my heart, Neil. Close to my heart. You know that, and I will be barracking for the Suns as usual.
You'll barrack for the Guernsey.
No, but we look forward to it, and it's just a couple of weeks away, so we really look forward to it. There's been some other staffing changes around Bowls Australia in the last month or so. Yes, yeah. We've got some new RBMs, which is fantastic, and some moving on to other positions in the bowls industry, which is always very nice. Paul Jackson moving up to the Northern Territory, James Whitehead moving to Bowls Victoria. So some replacements have come in there, which is fantastic. Craig Donaldson moving from Northern New South Wales to Newcastle. Chris Dudman, Chris coming in to the Pathways coach in Tasmania. And Darren Anderson with into the office here in a role which is a really important one around social bowls and inclusion. And Val Febo, who has joined the marketing and media and comms team. So, look, it's certainly a bit of an influx. And I think out of COVID and the year that we've all had in 2020, it's not unsurprising that people have the chance to reflect about, what they're doing in life. And as Steve Glassen has done himself, decide to say, well, maybe it's time for a bit of a shift and a bit of a change in career. So this happens on occasions. And look, we welcome all of those new staff members to BA, and I'm sure they'll make a fabulous contribution across the board. And there's a couple more opportunities out there as well for the events and competitions coordinator role that's out there at the moment, and also an assistant to the national coach.
Yeah, we'll be advertising. Well, we've advertised the events and competition role, which was Reese Wilson, who did a great job for us, and of course with Gary moving to the national coach position, that frees up a full-time position as national assistant coach, and that position will be advertised in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that, and all those aspiring national coaches, we'd be very pleased to see your application.
Neil, I suppose we finish with a reminder that the Disaster Relief Fund is there for clubs to access and for people and clubs to donate to. Obviously, there's bushfires going on over in Western Australia at the moment. Not that far from me, so I'm well and truly across what's happening there. But just a reminder there that, you know, it's an eventful place is where we live in at the moment, and the better we can be prepared for it, the better. And the Disaster Relief Fund's one way of doing that.
Yep. And look, this fund has been a great success over the years. And as you say rightly, it's to support those clubs, but also those bowlers that are impacted by natural disasters. And we've had fires in both South Australia and, as you say, Western Australia in the last few days. And we certainly hope that no bowlers or bowls clubs are affected, nor from any person for that matter from the community. But the Disaster Relief Fund is set up to support bowlers and bowling clubs. So I would really call out to any clubs that are looking to run any days and raise some funds to support the disaster relief, and any bowlers individually that might want to donate. The details are available on the Bowls Australia website, and we certainly would encourage. We're always looking, even from a BA perspective, in what we do day to day, is to look to raise some funds through different events, whether it be at the BPL. I've already been approached by one of the players from the BPL who'd like to do something at the BPL. So I think something like, you know, how many touches he might be able to, that's Barry Lester too, by the way. So he likes to get a few touches. So,
he does.
But I mean, if he, and that's great. So I mean, his club, the Melbourne Pulse, the Dandenong Club, have been very supportive of the Disaster Relief Fund over many years, and generous in their offerings. So, and I call out, as I say, to any other clubs that would like to support the fund, and that money gets out there straight away. We're continually dishing out money to those clubs that have been impacted, and we have done recently, even with the Helping Hand Fund, which is kind of an ancillary fund to the disaster relief. We're still handing out some money to clubs impacted by COVID, and so yeah, happy to support all of those initiatives.
Well, there it is, Neil. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully 2021 just continues to get better when we put the events of 2020 behind us, and look forward to all the great things we've got coming in 2021.
Look, it's going to be a great year, hopefully, Clive. We're optimistic, and as you say, with those events coming on board now, there's going to be more content for everyone to view. And yeah, hopefully getting out and having a bowl, it's very much part of what we all do. I recently played, just to finish, I played in a fantastic event run by the Heathcote Bowling Club on Australia Day, and that's another big day for bowls around the country, and that was in support of motor neurone, and so I mean the motor neurone disease, and the money that bowls club has raised, it's over $80,000 now over the last few years for motor neurone research, and that club doesn't take anything. All profit goes to motor neurone, and they ran a fabulous day, and we finished second, actually, thanks to John Emerson and his partner from Bendigo North Bowling Club. So, but yeah, so we were really happy to be there. It was a great day, and just shows the power of bowls and in the community, and how bowling clubs can support the community. So I thought that's a really positive way to finish this chat today, Clive.
It certainly is. If you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on, head to bowls.com.au. You'll get all of the information there. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, Neil.
Bye for now.